I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and I am back with another video here for you guys, and I hope you all are doing well. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you'll go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. I don't know how much longer we're gonna have here as we, in this country as we know it, but as long as we're still here together, please go ahead and join me. I would very much appreciate that. And if you're not new here, then thank you so much for being a friend as always. And I appreciate you guys. I really do. I just want to jump on here, guys, because the news broke today that Trump is officially indicted, and it is the end of a nation, guys. I'm not being melodramatic either. I'm really not. You can say that I'm being crazy, over the top, whatever you want to say, but this is truly going to be an inflection point. This is going to be a turning point for our country, and I don't know what's fixing to happen. I truly don't. And maybe nothing will happen, but if that's the case, either way that it goes, if we have, the next civil war, or if literally people just move on and go about their business, either way it's bad. Because either we're going to get to the same end either quickly or slowly. So it's bad, guys. It's really bad all the way around. So we're going to talk about it today. And I'm going to give my thoughts on it. I'm going to try to remain calm during this video. You guys know I have a tendency to get a little excited. Okay, y'all know how I do. But I'm really, I don't know. I feel like a weird, calm before the storm right now. So I'm going to try to keep my cool. But as I was collecting videos and collecting things I wanted to show you guys, I was triggered in some of these, but I included a little bit of funny keckness in throughout, sprinkled throughout. So we're going to laugh, we're going to cry, we're going to, whatever. We're going to be angry. We might say an F-bomb. I don't know. Stick around and see. So let's get into it without further ado. And I want to start off, guys, with a song, okay? So let's just get into that. And hopefully we got some Trump fans out here today watching this video, because if you're not a fan of Trump, then you might as well just click off, because you're not going to, you're probably going to, or don't click off. Actually, please stay till the end. If you're not a fan of Trump, please stay till the end and hear what I have to say. And let's have civil discourse. Isn't that what we need in this country? I feel it is. So let's get into it, guys, without further ado.
And the Billboard charts, Justice for All, featuring President Donald J. Trump and the J6 Choir.
His hit song.
So just a little bit of context, guys. This was from the Trump rally in Waco the other day. I'm sure maybe some of you guys have seen this, but there is a song on Spotify that you can actually listen to with the J6 political prisoners singing the national anthem and Trump doing voiceovers, and it was a very keck moment. During the whole process of this, I was loving it. That's why I recorded it, and I meant to share it as a standalone video the other day, but I never got around to it. But today felt fitting to include this on this video.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Whose stripes and bright stars through and to the republic for which it stands,
Using J6 footage, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's using January 6 footage.
I love it.
This is Hitler level. This is next level.
one
Stupid.
nation, under God.
And of course, if you couldn't tell, I'm watching. This was me watching Nick Fuentes react to the Trump rally, so that's why he's in the corner here reacting to it. So if anyone didn't catch that.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So awesome, dude.
So epic.
You know, like, he just has to win. He has to win because he started it. Well, I don't want to say that, but his supporters stormed.
Oh my God. So I loved it. I loved that moment. I thought that was amazing. And people wailed about this online. They were upset, you guys. And I just thought it made it even better, because what is people's problem? I don't understand it. They act like still to this day that January 6th was this big, huge, horrible event in time in our country. And it's just like, I don't see it that way. I don't. And a lot of those people that are still being held were totally non-violent during the riot. And, you know, I felt Trump could do even more for them than he did, you know. So I'm glad to see that he is actually showing his support for these people finally, and like actually giving them some sort of nod, because it's what he owed to them, I feel, you know. Obviously he didn't know what was going to happen, that January 6th was going to be this huge setup the way that it was, but it still called for a certain reaction from him that he just did not give. So I was glad to see him throw his support behind these people and to just make this statement. I thought it was great. It's patriotic, you know, whatever. It happened. And all you can really do now at this point is like use it and laugh, like not even laugh at it, but like use it to your advantage, because they're going to say what they want to say anyways, just like they have been doing about this man for the entire time since he has, you know, first announced in 2015 that he was running for president. They have just been after him. And it seems like Alvin Bragg's fat ass has finally gotten his claws into Donald Trump. And we're going to get that mugshot, maybe, possibly, from Donald Trump, which is also going to be epic. And I think that they really made a huge miscalculation here. They misstepped completely, I feel, with this political prosecution of Donald Trump. And yeah, I think it's gonna bite them all on their ass in the end. And you know, this is what we can hope for. But if it ends up going all the way through, then I mean, it's inevitable. Like our country is over. If we have this sort of thing happen, it's completely useless. I mean, it really is. You're like, the courts have turned against us. The police, the DAs, the politicians have all turned against the American people, because, you know, they're going to start with Trump and then they're going to move on to all of the other people, all of the transphobes, all of the people that like guns, all of the people that don't agree with them. They will come for you next. So let's get into the first thing I want to show you guys. And it's just basically explaining what happened and with this latest news of the Trump indictments. Okay.
Look at this. Alvin Bragg leaving his office literally about 5 minutes ago here.
What a piece of shit.
Okay, so there you can see him there, Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan District Attorney. He and his office now have just put out a statement, and we have the statement here. Let's put this up. I'm going to read this. All right. It says, this evening, we contacted Mr. Trump's attorney to coordinate his surrender to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for arraignment on a Supreme Court indictment, which remains under seal. Guidance will be provided when the arraignment date is selected. All right. So, not much from Bragg's office, but at least something. I'm going to read it again. This evening, we contacted Mr. Trump's attorney to coordinate his surrender to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for arraignment on a Supreme Court indictment, which remains under seal. Guidance will be provided when the arraignment date is selected. Now, that is the state Supreme Court in New York. That's not the, obviously, U.S. Supreme Court there. So that is all we are getting from Bragg. I want to re-rack this yet again as we watch.
I hope they make Alvin Bragg and the NYPD come and get him. I really hope that Trump fights this at every step and make them come and march inside of Mar-a-Lago and drag him out of there. The optics of that would be phenomenal. Honestly, it truly would be. Because this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. They are spitting in the face of every single person and trying to convince us that this is righteous, that this is like the, honest, and some people were calling it patriotic thing to do. People are so confused and lost. It is insane to me. I mean, the level of hypocrisy that exists in this situation is out of this world, guys. Like, I was talking to someone earlier, and, if you talk to your just regular, like, normal, everyday person who's not very involved in politics, they don't really understand all of the, like, inner workings of this deal. So, of course, they're gonna be like, well, normal people will say, well, if Donald Trump, if he, committed a crime, then he should be arrested. He should be treated like anyone else. But he's not the first president to have committed a crime. And that's a joke, honestly, if you think about it. Every single president, okay, has committed some sort of crime. Hillary Clinton was caught red-handed, paying people to create this whole narrative about Russia and the Steele dossier. And she got a slap on the wrist. She had to pay a fine for campaign fund negligence or whatever the fuck it was. Joe Biden, his links to Ukraine and China and, selling his influence via his son. Bill Clinton, let's not forget about him. All of the shady shit that's been going on with him and his whole entire life and all of his crimes that have been swept under the rug. My point is that these people have been covered for. Like, our justice system, our police, our politicians have all covered for one another for as long as this country has existed. And it's because in other countries, they do this sort of thing. They arrest and they prosecute politicians, and it just doesn't give good optics. It's because, like, when we elect people to office, it's going to be a given that something can be found to prosecute that person, especially if you are a partisan hack like Alvin Bragg, who can basically pour over the legislative books and find any sort of law, any law. And we have so many in place that it's, like I was saying in one of my last videos, it's impossible for you to go a day without you committing some sort of crime. Whether it be, you're speeding in your car, a traffic crime, or it be like, even something small. Like, you never know. You just never know. And so it's easy to find something when you're looking for something. So it's really just appalling. And I didn't think they were going to do it, but turns out here we are, guys. So let's get into the next clip. Whoops.
This evening, we contacted Mr. Trump's attorney to coordinate his surrender to the Manhattan DA's office for arraignment on the Supreme Court indictment, which remains under seal. Joining us now, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, you faced unfair persecution yourself by our powers that be in our justice system. But Bragg just, indicted a former president for the first time in our history, and yet they don't have to tell the American public right now why, for a few days, just to keep the drama going, I guess. Your reaction to just that aspect of it before we get into more?
It seems to leave a nation on the edge as we witness the Sorosification of the criminal justice system in this country. Remember, Soros gave Alvin Bragg $1 million, and we're used to seeing these things with political leaders arrested, grandmothers hijacked in our city centers, government printing money till it goes out of style in third world countries, and now that's being visited on the United States of America. I spoke with President Trump moments ago, and he is resolute and focused. And he's concerned about what this does to America's brand around the world. We will wake up in a very different America tomorrow because we can no longer have moral authority against the dictators and despots who would always find it easier to jail their political rivals than to compete against them in free and fair elections. And I remember my Democrat colleagues in Congress just crowing to high heaven about the unfairness of Comey making derogatory comments about Hillary Clinton before the 2016 election. This must ring 1,000 times louder to all of them. It is clear election interference, and I believe there are federal equities at play that the United States Congress ought to evaluate.
Now, Matt, Congressman, do you agree with what I said in the angle that if Biden and the White House didn't want this to go forward, it wouldn't have gone forward, right? I mean, it would have been a back channel communication or a public speech about how we have to set aside our differences and may the best man or woman win in 2024. We have to unite the country. Don't prosecute your political opponents. We got to put that away, that concept away. He could have that would have actually been smart politically for him, but he didn't do that. So they are approving this. They're going to say they're not, but they're approving of this entire thing.
Oh, not only did Joe Biden not put out a message to bring the temperature down, he functionally gaslit this indictment by saying that extreme MAGA Republicans were dangerous. Remember, it's Biden's government that we are currently investigating for supercharging the notion of domestic violent extremism. We found cases of the FBI cooking the books to try to get every American to think that the person next to them with a pro-Trump bumper sticker is somehow dangerous or evil. And when Biden did that, it created a permission structure not only for Alvin Bragg, but for the corrupt left-leaning prosecutors in Fulton County and even for the special counsel to try to lash together anything. Remember, this is a novel legal theory. You're talking about a misdemeanor that has to get bootstrapped onto election law in a way I've never seen before. And Alvin Bragg made this promise in his campaign. He told New York voters that he had sued Trump 100 times and that if he got in that position, he would continue this terrible witch hunt.
Yeah, he's a total hack. I mean, we all know that. I mean, anyone who's a serious person knows this is political. It doesn't pass the straight face test. But Michael Cohen's attorney, yes, he has an attorney, thinks the prosecutors, Congressman, have a lot to work with.
There are lots of facts, lots of documents, lots of evidence of multiple crimes. There will be a lot of people surprised at the level of evidence, at the detail of evidence, based on my experience in watching this group of prosecutors develop this case.
Congressman, again, they're in essence allowed to just peddle propaganda before the public even knows what Trump is facing here. Again, it's almost like they're trying to incite some type of bad reaction on the part of the American people by kind of dragging this out. I don't like this. And everybody watching tonight, we, support peaceful protests, and people are going to protest this, go at it. But, we're not violent people. We go to court to get our results if we have to. And that's what Donald Trump's going to do.
Certainly, we don't want to resolve differences through violence, but give me a break. The Chinese Communist Party can pay every grifter in the Biden family, but Donald Trump can't pay Stormy Daniels to resolve a legal dispute without the claim that there's lots of evidence. There's a legal element that is not met by any evidence. They would have to prove that Donald Trump would have no reason other than the election to try to resolve this issue with Stormy Daniels privately and outside of the public sphere. And of course, there are plenty of reasons he would do so. So it's an obvious affirmative defense. What I think will happen next? A motion to dismiss. And if this were ever to be tried, you certainly could not do it in Manhattan. You would likely see a change of venue. Upstate New York would maybe be the only place Donald Trump could get a fair trial. But what I expect is that this will be resolved well before that by any court that looks at the way that the law is being tortured in the absence of any charge that would be maintainable against any human being on the planet Earth other than Donald Trump. And against Trump, it is clearly political, frivolous, and that's why you're able to cite that Quinnipiac evidence showing that by a margin of about 2-1, the American people see this as not based in the law or the facts, but raw, ugly politics.
Well, you have more faith in the judges.
And that's just it. This would never happen to any other American. And I let that play for a little while, guys, because I'm truly just, like, speechless in a way. I mean, obviously not, because I came in here to do a video, but, like, I really just want to, like, bring this to you guys and see what y'all think. And I wanted to just put something together because it's outlandish. I mean, it really is. If people don't understand the gravity of this, I don't know how those people can be helped at this point. Because just think about it. Like, if this was such a big deal, okay? Like, if Donald Trump was so threatened by this, then, like, what about the whole, like, if y'all don't remember, like, right around the 2016, like, end of the year, like, the final countdown, basically, before the general election was happening, in November, I believe in October, the Grab Her by the Pussy video came out, right? If that didn't do any damage to his campaign and he was still able to win, why would the affair with Stormy Daniels coming out do any damage to his campaign to the degree that he would have to pay her off specifically for, you know, basically for, like, purposes of covering it up for the election? Makes no sense. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Even if it did make any sense and there was any merit to it, I still do not believe that he should have ever been even considered for indictment, because it is just banana republic shit. It is so out of the scheme of, like, what we should be doing right now. We're literally on the cusp of collapse in this country. Brazil and China just made a deal where they are basically scrapping the US dollar and they are going to start trading in their own currency. Like, the Ukraine is losing the war at this point. That's fixing to all go to hell after hundreds of billions of dollars have been poured into that shithole country. We have, you know, record high inflation. We have a completely broken and totally just morally bankrupt society and culture. We have sick children who are being corrupted by our institutions. I mean, we have so many other problems, and you're telling me that in the state of New York, in the state of New York City, like, where the utter state that it is in right now, Alvin Bragg doesn't have better things to do than to waste time on a grand jury indictment for Donald Trump for paying Stormy Daniels off so she could shut her fucking whore mouth and stop going on and on about their affair. Really? Really? Okay. Okay. Got it. So let's get into some of the reactions. The 2024 GOP field responding to the Trump indictment. And, you know, they were all against, obviously, Alvin Bragg. Like, Ron DeSantis came out. Look at the way this article is written. This is awful. Whoever wrote this? So Glenn Youngkin came out and said, "It is beyond belief that District Attorney Alvin Bragg has indicted a former president and current presidential candidate for pure political gain. Arresting a presidential candidate on a manufactured basis should not happen in America." Nikki Haley, what did she have to say with her bitch ass? "This is more about revenge than it is about justice." And she posted a clip of a recent Fox News interview in which she denounced Bragg's case as a political prosecution. So Mike Pompeo accused Bragg of undermining America's confidence in our legal system. Tim Scott said Trump indictment is a travesty and railed against Bragg and other far left in a statement. And let's see, Asa Hutchinson, who is apparently more of a Trump critic, he offered a more measured take. What did he say? It is a dark day for America when a former president is indicted on criminal charges. While the grand jury found credible facts to support the charges, it is important that the presumption of innocence follows Mr. Trump. Oh, wow. You could have kept that. Really, you could have kept that, honestly. Where's DeSantis' statement? Because that was quite interesting. What did Mike Pence say? Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Pence said, but when you have an attorney general in New York, a Manhattan DA that targeted one particular American in their campaigns, I think it offends the notion of the overwhelming majority of the American people who believe in fairness, who believe in equal treatment before the law. Wow. What a great statement that was. Okay, and then last but not least, Ron DeSantis. Okay, this is his take. The weaponization of the legal system to advance a political agenda turns the rule of law on its head. It is un-American. The Soros-backed Manhattan DA has consistently bent the law to downgrade felonies and to excuse criminal misconduct. Yet now he is stretching the law to target a political opponent. He also reiterated he would not assist in an extradition request for Trump, a Florida resident. How very noble of you, DeSantis. Wow. And you couldn't even name him in your statement. All of these people who are tiptoeing around naming and saying his name, you all cowards. Really. Y'all are very, very weak and the last thing that this country needs. I mean, there is just not one strong statement from any of these people to be had anywhere. You know, I mean, it's just, it's so demoralizing, but we cannot let it get to that way. We cannot let it demoralize us to the point that we lose faith and cannot fight against this, because that is the most important thing at this point in time. So, I do have an update though, guys. This just came in, so I'm going to go ahead and share this with y'all. Let's see what it is. Okay, so as per sources on the ground, Trump has taken command of the NYPD and has become the undisputed warlord of Manhattan. Well, God bless him. See? You see there? Vindicated. Vindication. You guys, this is what keeping the faith does, all right? We love to see it. So, and obviously this is fake for you guys that might be slow out there, but I would love, this would be great. He looks good with a gun like that, he looks good, and we can only hope, somebody needs to take control over there. Somebody with 2 cents and a brain cell and a pair of nuts. Okay, we need that. So, before we get into these other little videos I want to show y'all, there was this funny video that I saw on Instagram, and I wanted to share this also with you guys because it made my heart happy, and, it's very much a keck little moment here. That
do not come.
Huh?
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Do not come.
Hey, you do us the most, and we thank you. We thank you. That's a beautiful song. Love the remix.
Next up, the guy that keeps Jim Kelly feeling safe and warm most of the time, the tackle for the Buffalo Bills.
That guy, I don't care how much money he has. Anybody can get a date with Marla Maples. This is my man, Mr. Donald Trump. Good luck.
Are you nervous? Nervous as hell. Only for airline tickets. You own your own airline, don't you? Do you still own your own airline? Oh, they haven't taken that away from you yet, huh? No, good.
Wow. What a Chad. What an absolute Chad.
I got you, bastard. Wait a minute, we gotta get a word.
So he just threw a football for $1 million going to charity.
I have no idea. Who says there's not luck in football?
You are the man. One time, everybody, Donald Trump.
So epic.
Unbelievable.
He's a Chad. Like, he is the ultimate Chad, and you know, I just thought that was a very cute moment. So let's move on to the next one, guys, and let's just see what this is.
Donald Trump is the Hugh Hefner of the 90s.
In the 1990s, Donald Trump was building a reputation for himself as a ladies' man.
For an older person, he's very attractive.
He may be the most eligible bachelor in America. Please welcome Donald Trump.
Can you imagine how controversial I'd be? You think about Clinton with the women. How about me with the women?
Oh my God. Oh my God. September 7th, 1999, he said this. Wow. Yikes.
You imagine.
Well, I mean, I think there is a certain controversy to me, and I am single, and I do go out with women.
While his face and sounding like the Trump of the 80s, talking big about his finances.
Back in the 1990s, you owed something like $900 million. Your empire was pretty much
more than that.
You owed more than that?
975 was personally guaranteed. That was just the small part. That was the harder debt. But I owed many, many billions of dollars. And now my company is much bigger and stronger than it was in the 80s.
And flirting with a presidential run.
Businessman Donald Trump tells Meet the Press that tomorrow he, Trump, is also leaving the Republican Party to join the Reform Party.
He's considered the largest developer in New York. With his
in 1999, Trump was on the verge of doing something that he had only hinted at in the 80s. He was about to decide whether he could really run for the White House.
Running mate. If you decide to go at this, who would be the ideal running mate for Donald Trump?
Oh, I think Oprah would be great.
Bitch, shut the hell
Seriously.
up.
I think that probably that would be serious, actually.
Okay.
Hey, NBC News fans.
Oh, man. I just, you know, it makes me sad to watch all of this in a way, because it's like, this was once such a beloved, and he still is, like by so many people, and even more so now than he was back then, but he was universally beloved back in the 90s, the 80s, and even in the 2000s. Just up until he decided he wanted to run for president and make the country better, and started calling out the problems of our country and calling out the people in charge, is whenever he started to get targeted. And he was his image was completely poisoned by the media, because everything that they came out with against him was completely just utter propaganda bullshit. And so looking back on all of these different like older clips of him, just really, I don't know, it's like bittersweet, because it, you know, you can clearly see that he's always been the same person. He's always talked about, like, you know, wanting to possibly run for president because he wanted to, you know, make things better for the country, which the next video we're going to get into kind of speaks more on that. But it's sad, because it's like what they did to him, just because he wanted to change the way that things were going for the people at the bottom. He wanted to actually stir things up and make this country better for everyone, not just better for the people in charge. And they took that and then turned all of the people that he was trying to help against him. It's truly sickening, and it's a great show of what our oligarchy and our elites are capable of doing in this country. And the fact that they are still getting away with it, and people are going along with it, and not only feeding into their propaganda, but spreading it for them, doing their dirty work for them. It's honestly astounding. So let's show you guys this here. I think it's this one. Hang on.
Refined his playbook. His attacks.
Steve, you're going to have to...
Has said quite seriously...
Here we go.
Arrogant?
Yeah, he's arrogant.
I like him.
You do?
Man's got got
a black man likes Trump? What?
everything.
He often did this by picking fights.
He said, I think Donald Trump is an artful liar. I think he is a greedy, vicious, and arrogant man.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know, is that supposed to be a compliment or not? I'm not sure.
He waged a years-long battle with New York City Mayor Ed Koch.
I hope that New York City has a different mayor at some point, because I think Ed Koch is a total disaster. He's been a very bad mayor for the city.
He helped launch a competitor to the NFL called the U.S. Football League, and then launched a lawsuit against the NFL when the USFL failed.
The jury in the case delivered its verdict. It ruled the NFL did indeed monopolize pro football, but it awarded damages of just $1.
And in one of his biggest fights of the 1980s, he went up against media mogul Merv Griffin in a fight over a casino in Atlantic City.
People realize now that Merv made a bad deal. It's unfortunate that he's taken a fall, but he has taken the fall. Nothing much I can do about it.
Donald loves that perception. I won. He is still, a year later standing in New York going, I won. He wants to make sure everybody in America knows he won.
But the Donald Trump we know today is more than just a boastful brawler. That's because there's one more tactic that Trump apparently learned in the 80s and uses to great effect on the campaign trail today. Keep people guessing about any long-term plans.
Mr. Trump, what's left in your life? You're 33 years old. You're worth all this money. You say you didn't say that you want to be worth $1 billion now.
No, I really don't. I just want to keep busy and keep active.
Could $1 billion buy the White House? What do you think?
Well,
Does
I don't
money
think it
give
can.
you?
I know a lot of the politicians. I like a lot of the politicians. They're friends of mine.
Trump carefully cultivated speculation about his future. In 1987, he ran a full-page ad in major newspapers that read like a political manifesto.
A blow-up of the ad is now on display at Trump Tower on 5th Avenue.
The ad was irresistible to the New York press, and the move kept Trump's name in the news.
Trump has said quite seriously that he's a good enough bargainer to negotiate a nuclear disarmament treaty with the Russians.
This is not a wealthy country. People think America, wealth, this and that. The Japanese are saying that. What a wealthy country. I mean, they're saying it and they're laughing. The country's losing $200 billion a year. We ought to go in. The next time they fire so much as a bullet at one of our ships, we ought to go in and take over their oil.
With each of these instances, Trump refined his playbook. His attacks.
Steve, you're going to have to start pushing these people now a little bit because it's getting a little ridiculous.
So even back then, he knew what the fuck was up, guys. We're such a stupid country, y'all. This is a different kind of video. Normally, I'd probably be yelling and screaming at this point, but it's so funny. I mean, we're such a stupid country. For the first time in my life, I've felt like I'm ready to leave this place. If they don't, I don't know, if they keep on with this, it's like, what is the point of remaining in America? We are just as bad as China. We're just as bad as Russia at this point. Look at all of the political prosecution that's going on towards Donald Trump. And people think that Vladimir Putin is so bad, and it's not just because of what he did in Ukraine. Before that, they were pointing at who's that guy? What's his name? Oh God, it's at the tip of my tongue. The guy that he locked up, his political opponent. Basically, the guy that he was trying to run against him, and he ended up putting him in prison. He's still in there. He is still in prison to this day under horrible conditions. And people were pointing to that. And I even had a problem with Putin for that. I thought that was disgusting behavior. And I was not okay with it. But now here we are doing the exact same thing. And it just says so much. It just says so much. So, this, guys, was another person who said much too much. So I wanted to show y'all this video of Karine Jean-Pierre saying the quiet part out loud. And then we're going to move on to the supposed president of the United States and his idiotic ramblings.
Apologies for all the toppers. We haven't had a briefing in some time. I have 2 more for you, and I promise we'll get to your questions. Okay, so today, as you all saw just an hour or so ago, President Obama announced that, President Biden.
I'm sorry, what?
Whoa!
Huh? I'm sorry, who?
Today, as you all saw just an hour or so ago, President Obama announced that.
Oh, President Obama, eh? What? How long have you been here? Is this your first day? Okay, right. Why would you even have President Obama on your mind? Is it because he is the puppet master behind Joe Biden's utter failure of a presidency? I don't know. What do you guys think? Was that just a slip of the tongue? Was that just a little accident, She likes to use the top of mind scenario. Why Joe Biden was calling out for a dead woman. And here you are calling out for President Obama in your press secretary role as under the Biden administration. Very odd behavior from you, Karine Jean-Pierre. So, we're going to transition, guys, from the Donald Trump indictment, because I just want to show y'all, in the midst of all of that going on, all of the you know, dirty crimes that Donald Trump has committed by paying off a prostitute. In the midst of all of that, the decline of our nation, guys, the absolute and utter failure of our justice system, we have transgender, sick in the head individuals going inside of schools, shooting them up, killing innocent children, and days later we have a statement like this from the president. He said, okay, he issued a proclamation, guys. So mere days after the attack on the Nashville elementary school by a sick-ass transgender person, Biden had this to say. Transgender Americans shape our nation's soul. Proudly serving in the military, curing deadly diseases, holding elected office, running thriving businesses, fighting for justice, raising families, and much more. Biden wrote in the Thursday morning proclamation. Today, too many transgender Americans are still denied rights and freedoms. A wave of discriminatory state laws is targeting transgender youth, terrifying families, and hurting kids who are not hurting anyone. Hurting kids who are not hurting anyone. I'm sorry. Do you have more dementia than you already had? Are you fucking stupid? And here it comes. Here comes the rage, guys. I thought I was going to remain calm. But this one always gets me. This topic always, like, are you dumb? Let me read that again. Okay. A wave of discriminatory state laws is targeting transgender youth, terrifying families, and hurting kids who are not hurting anyone. An epidemic of violence against transgender women and girls, in particular women and girls of color, guys, the trannies of color, has taken lives far too soon. Well, what about the lives that they've taken far too soon? You bumbling fucktard. What is wrong with these people? They are so whacked off, guys. Like, I don't even understand it anymore. The gaslighting is so real. The utter, like, just, it's like smoke and mirrors. It's shock and awe what they're doing to people right now. With the arrest of Donald Trump, and then they come out with this statement days after a tranny walked into an elementary school and shot and killed 6 people. This is the messaging here? This is what we're getting? Like, how do you guys feel about this? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you are as offended as I am, I mean, I need to know that, like, I'm not alone, which I know I'm not. Like, I've seen, obviously, outrage from all across the internet, but I just needed to drive this point home, because this is the state that we are in. This is the frame of mind that the supposed president is in after what transpired, okay? And then this idiot had more to say at her press briefing from yesterday, because that was about a month ago, the first one I showed y'all, where she named the real president behind Joe Biden's utter idiocracy. But this is what she had to say in regards to the transgender issue, okay?
And Kentucky, the Kentucky legislature.
Making sure that they feel seen.
Okay. Bitch, I just want to hear one part of your stupid
trans kids as they attack.
I'm sorry, what?
Anti-LGBT people just across the country to make their voices heard, just as long as it's peaceful. And we've been very clear about these anti-LGBTQ bills that we're seeing in state legislatures across the country, in particular these anti-trans bills, as they attack trans kids, as they attack trans parents. It is shameful, and it is unacceptable.
Is it?
As you mentioned, tomorrow's Trans Visibility Day, on a day that we should be lifting up our trans kids, our trans youth, and making sure that they feel seen. We're seeing.
So we should be lifting up kids to chop off and mutilate their body parts. We should be lifting up trans kids to take hormones for the rest of their lives into a group, a subgroup, that has a 41% suicide rate. Is that what you're telling me, you stupid fucking bitch? And I'm sorry for the language, guys. It's coming out of me now. I've been holding it back, I guess, and this does it for me right here. How idiotic is this? How clown world is this? What kind of buffoonery are we living amongst? Trans kids need to be protected? Trans youth? Who's going to protect us from the trans youth, lady? Riddle me that. Because I would honestly like to know, because not only do we have psychopaths storming up into elementary schools, okay, shooting children, okay, and you say that they need to be protected? Well, who's going to protect us from people like this? Who's going to protect us from these fucking savages? They are basically fighting with police right here. Put him in cuffs. What are y'all waiting for? Who's going to protect us? Okay, who? These are questions I need answers to. We have things like this, okay?
I'd say there were 7 victims.
I'm sorry. Every death is a tragedy, y'all. 7 lives, shouted one of the many protesters occupying the Tennessee state capitol Thursday to demand stricter gun control. I'd say there were 7 victims here, added another, as several members of the crowd could be seen holding up 7, not 6, fingers in the air. So, these are the people that need protecting? Because they look like they can handle themselves pretty well. Meanwhile, there are 6 innocent lives lost in Tennessee. I don't know why these people are having any sympathy towards a school shooter. Dead. Deservingly dead. Okay? What is literally the matter with everyone? Because if this was any other school shooter, they would not be saying that, oh, it's 7 lives, not 6. Bitch, no, it's not. Because that stupid woman took it upon herself to go and do what she did, and she deserved to die. Honestly, you know, I wish it would have been more. I don't even know. She should have been eaten by an alligator. We should have fed her to, like, a hippopotamus or something. Like, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a public hanging, in my opinion. But that's not where we're at as a country. We're here. We are at a place where these people are inside of the Tennessee Capitol doing an insurrection, might I add, and saying that the shooter deserves to be recognized along with her 6 victims. I'm sorry. This makes my brain want to jump out of my body. Honestly, I think I just need to go ahead and get out of here, guys, because I have so much to say, and I'm going to end up saying something that is going to get me kicked off YouTube. So I think it's absolutely disgusting, though. No, there were not 7 lives lost. Somebody took 6 lives, and their life was forfeited. You know, it was not lost, it was forfeited. So get over it. If it was any other school shooter or any other mass shooter, this would not even be a topic of conversation. And the fact that the media is having sympathy on this woman who did this is disgraceful. And it's sick in the head and depraved. And I honestly don't want to live here anymore. I mean, that's where I'm at. That's truly where I'm fucking at. And I don't know where I'm going to end up going. Anybody down to start doing a homestead somewhere? Like, I don't know. We need a plot of land and a farm and some fucking cows, because I am so done with this place. Like, it's unreal how crazy it gets out here. So, but yeah, guys, I would love to know what y'all think, and like the video if you liked it. You know, like I said, this was a different sort of situation that occurred here today, but there's a lot going on, guys, and it's very upsetting to me what is happening with Donald Trump, and at a time where we should be coming together, we are so divided, and we have people at the Tennessee State Capitol showing sympathy towards a school shooter who killed 3 children and 3 adults. Meanwhile, Trump's getting indicted for bullshit charges while Hillary Clinton walked free. This is Clown World. Welcome, and I hope you guys are happy with what we have chosen here. So I will see y'all next time, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you want. I don't know. I will see y'all later. Bye.
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.